Welcome into Locky Top Sports. I'm your host, Josh, with my co-host, Naveen. It's been a chilly week this week. A lot of good college basketball to get into. NFL playoffs, number 47 episode. We just hit our year birthday, so congratulations to Locky Top Sports for making it a whole calendar year. Our first show was at the end of the national championship game when Michigan won. And then we had another Big Ten school win. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. But Naveen, a lot of stuff packed into this week. Vols hoops, we'll talk about that. We got, a big matchup with Auburn this Saturday. Yeah, so just let me know your thoughts of this action-packed week of sports that we've been able to watch and what we have to see in the next following days.
Yeah. There's only 3 games of football left. Just want to say that again. 3 games of football left. It's all NFL now. College football is over. Man. We got to wait for August. These years just fly by quicker and quicker, I feel like, as I get older. But that doesn't mean the locks are going away. Last week, all the dogs went to heaven. They were 4-0. Eagles plus 6.5. Commanders, Rams covered, and the Bills covered. Bills are taking off versus the Chiefs. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the battle of the NFC East. What I would say is a kind of weird situation where we have divisional teams facing each other. So this will be the 3rd time this calendar year that these guys are facing each other. As far as the hoops are concerned, if we play a game at home, we're winning. If we play a game on the road, crapshoot. So we'll get into that. We're heading to Auburn this weekend. Line's not out yet, but I want to say Auburn by 4.5 or 5 or so. We'll check back in when the line comes out. That game is Saturday night. We will be reacting to the game Saturday night, so stay tuned with us. We'll be live.
That'll be a late one.
Oh, yeah, 10:30.
10:30.
When you're pissed off and drunk and, you were going to go out, but Tennessee let you down, or you were going to go out and now you're going to go out two times harder because Tennessee is crushing Auburn. We'll be there with you. Let's start off with Tennessee hoops. Let's get into it. So we're number 6 in the country, guys. Seems like, we've had some tests recently, Florida, Vandy, but we really get into the meat and potatoes of the schedule. Again, we got Auburn coming up on Saturday, Florida and Kentucky coming up as well later into next week. Big time players make big time plays in big time situations. As we talked about kind of in our reaction show, we need to go 2-1. Josh, what are the steps to going 2-1 versus the combination of Auburn, Florida, and Kentucky?
Well, I think we have to really rely on our defense. That's kind of been our strong suit. Not only this year, but under Rick Barnes since he's been at Tennessee. So, they always talk about defense traveling, and we're definitely going to need that to be successful Saturday night on the road at Auburn. I don't know if Johni Broome's going to play. I think that could, it might even be a benefit to us if he does, because I don't think he'd be 100%. But there's reports right now that the guy wants to play. So I don't know if Auburn will let him. If I'm Bruce Pearl, I'm not letting Johni Broome play because, with basketball, it's such a different dynamic there compared to football, where if you lose a game, a regular season game, it's not the end of the world. Whereas if you lose a key player like Johni Broome over one regular season game like this for the rest of the year because he comes back too early, then it becomes super problematic for you, I think. So I really believe, Tennessee's defense traveling, shots falling like they were against Mississippi State. I think that's going to help us be successful on the road there. And, Kentucky hasn't really struck fear in my heart this year. I mean, they've played okay, but there's nothing that they do that really concerns me. And then obviously Florida, they're so Jekyll and Hyde, man. I think it goes back to what we were talking about on the Mississippi State reaction, that the road teams really struggle in the league. So when you look at it holistically, I mean, last night I watched the Gators go down to South Carolina and steal one. I mean, they literally won a game that they had no business. They didn't deserve to win it. The only time that they led in that game was with about 4 seconds left. That's the only one by 1 point. South Carolina should have closed. Obviously, they didn't do a good job of that. I wish we could have had Chase on to discuss that a little bit more. But I think Florida's very beatable. I think they're very beatable at home. I think Danny White in the athletic department just announced a couple days ago that there's an orange out for Alabama, and they're going to do the Checker Food City Center for the Florida game on February 1st. So, a lot of energy. It'll get the crowd into it, hopefully. And, I think Tennessee's got a pretty good record when they checker Thompson Bowling against Florida. I think that was the first team that they actually did it against. I think it was that 06 or 07 team. When Pearl really had it going with, Ramar Smith and DeJuan Smith and Chris Lofton and those guys. So, but anyway, home court advantage, defense traveling on the road, and then, having the same consistent scoring that we've had from Chaz. I think we'll be fine if he can hit his shots like he did, Tuesday night. It's been such a weird week; it's hard to remember what day it is. But yeah, so Tuesday night, yeah, I think if we have that type of offensive production from him, and even Okpara, I think Okpara is going to be key for us, down low. If he has another game like he did against Mississippi State, then I think we'll be fine. Zakai's going to Zakai. He's always showing up no matter what. So having a little bit of production from our bench would be helpful. Way more than we did against Florida. So I think this 3-game stretch will really tell us a lot about ourselves and about how our season's going to shake out.
Yeah, so I think it's crucial to go 2-1. That's the magic number for me. I'd also love to see what you're saying, consistent play from Chaz. But when Chaz is not going, I want to see rebounds. Last game we had Okpara with 12 rebounds and Milicic with 7. I think I'd like to see 20 rebounds out of the pair of them plus. I think that keeps us in the game. Again, Janai Broome likely to be limited or not play. I think we had our sideline reporter, Mr. JD Ricker, tell us that Janai Broome might play last week. So
that's what
called
he did.
It.
Yeah,
he called it. So if we're not sharp, at least JD is sharp. But I do want to say, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is our test. It doesn't really dip in quality after this. You might think, oh, we had this crazy 3-game stretch, but we still got Bama. We still got to play a bunch of good teams. Ole Miss, I think, some other teams as well, to close out the season. Vandy, who we've lost to already. So we got to get some get back on them. We got to get some get back on Florida. They embarrassed us. Let's not forget that.
Not forgot whatsoever. And I don't think the fans, that's why they announced the checker Thompson Bowling. They've got February 1st circled real hard on the calendar.
Yeah, and if we don't perform and we get swept by Florida, that's really embarrassing. This is not a basketball school nor a football school anymore. it might just be like a gymnastics school or something like that.
You talking about Florida?
Yeah, this is not a football school.
Dude,
This is
you're
not
gonna
a
have
basketball.
you're gonna have the Gators on my timeline just spontaneously combusting because you know how they feel. Who's the only ever team to win back-to-back national championships in basketball in the SEC? Florida. And they won the college football national championship the last year that they did that too. So, but we're coming up on 20-year drought there for the Gators, man. But we
got to really dust off the history book to get back to when these guys are good. So,
and I know that's rich coming from a couple Tennessee guys, but hey, it is what it is. I think we're on the upward trajectory. We've not peaked yet. Florida's still trying to figure it out. They've been wandering in the wilderness. They did give us a pretty big black eye in hoops a couple weeks ago. So looking forward to getting them in Knoxville and seeing how all that shakes out when we get them in the friendly confines of the Food City Center.
Yeah. Did you ever read when you were growing up Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
I did. Yeah, I'm very familiar.
Yeah, so that's Tennessee, right? Home and away. We're Mr. Hyde, nice gentleman at home, and we turn into Dr. Jekyll on the road.
Yeah, we just lose all composure whatsoever.
So we need to change forms again and make sure that we're winning, and we want to cover spreads too. Let's not forget that. What do we say about good and great teams, Josh?
Great teams cover. That's right.
Great teams
good teams win. Great teams cover. Right.
That's right. Absolutely. So we want to make sure that we can be giving out Tennessee as a pick going forward. I think we might be a little bit undervalued. So I'll say for our betting audience right now, it's a good time to start betting Tennessee. I've been noticing these first halves go under quite a bit, and the second halves would kind of let the gas off the defense. So what I've been trying to do is first half under, second half over in Tennessee. We'll see. We'll run the experiment in another couple of games before we officially release that as a pick. But I've been noticing that's how things go with our defense and our offense.
Well, we looked at our KenPom ratings the other night, man. I really do feel good about our overall efficiency rating from KenPom. I mean, he's got us racked up there near the top of the country in all categories except our strength of schedule. But I think, like we mentioned the other night, we're going to blow the strength of schedule category out of the water after we run this Auburn, Kentucky, Florida 3-game stretch here.
Yeah, and I just have a special message out to the Auburn, Kentucky, and Gator fans out there. Just comment. Like, if you think we're wrong about how Tennessee is going to do against your favorite team, just let us know. We got a couple of people on the live right now, but let us know as we continue the show if we're way off base, or if you want to argue with us, we'll get you on.
Yeah, and I just want to let everybody know I don't give a damn about any of those fans, what they have to say. You can't convince me that we're not going to have a better year than probably all three of those schools. I would argue that Auburn and Tennessee is the class of the SEC right now, and Saturday will probably play out to prove that. So, I mean, if you want to fade my picks, that I give about this game later on, then by all means, do that. But I have a really good feeling, the closer that we're getting to the game, that Tennessee's going to go down there and handle business.
You think the weather has any factor? Those guys were in snow and ice.
Nah, man.
Deep south.
No, these guys are all these guys are all professionals at this point. I think they're like I said, they're prepared. They're ready to go take care of business, regardless of the weather.
All right. Let's move on. Monday was a great day. We had our inauguration. Frankly enough,
47, baby.
We're at episode 47, so we called this episode presidential in honor of that. We also had a national championship of OSU versus Notre Dame. Pretty solid beatdown OSU put on. Also, one of the funniest decisions I've seen a coach make, trying to kick a field goal
down 13 with like less than 6 minutes to play in the fourth. Yeah,
dude. Down 16, 9 minutes to go. Kicked a field goal from the 9-yard line on 4th and goal. I don't know if we'll see that again. I think that's territory that analytics hasn't touched. In the sense
I wonder what their analytics guy was saying. Like, that's a page straight out of the Butch Jones football analytics. But I don't know like why they thought that was a good idea, because every time they were going for it on 4th down, they were converting. So
yeah, and their best plays were the 2-point conversions. They were hitting.
Yeah, they were killing them. So Marcus Freeman, man, I don't know what they paid you to just not go for it there, but hope it was worth selling your soul.
And then the funniest part about it all is they missed the kick.
Stoink, like right off the upright, dude.
Yeah, so that was a serious ball don't lie moment. I just remember just staring at the TV, wondering okay, let me make sure I can still do math. 16 minus 3, 13.
Yeah.
We go from a 2-possession game to another 2-possession
game.
So I was like, I want to see what these math nerds were thinking, and I tried to find out on Reddit. Really couldn't find it. Nobody.
They were probably thinking that they didn't want to have to go for 2 both times. I mean that would be the only logical rationale there, because they would have had to score.
But
8.
There's not enough time. You need in the third quarter, or even middle of the third quarter. If you want to tell me you're doing that, fine. I don't mind it. But 9 minutes to go, you're asking for 2 more touchdown drives in 9 minutes, and OSU is going to be running the ball because they're up 13, or hypothetically up 13, really up 16. So it's just very difficult. Couldn't understand that one. But I do want to give a shout out to Marcus Freeman. Pretty good coaching job. After that NIU loss.
Yeah, I'd left him really for dead, man. I really had. I left him for dead. I was coming back from a 250-mile relay race up in North Carolina with a couple of my buddies. One just so happened to be a big-time Notre Dame fan who, has come on the show a couple times as a loyal listener and commenter, Dr. K. And Brian, he was distraught. He was ready to tell us his little firstborn son there, Charlie, it's okay to be an Ohio State fan, because he's from Columbus, right? So he was like, I'll let Charlie just be a fan of any other team other than Notre Dame, because all they do is continuously bring heartbreak and rage into my life. And same thing. He'll always have that first drive from Monday night. I'm glad that he was able to go. I mean, it was I'm sure it was a cool experience to go down to Atlanta and see your team in the college football playoff national championship game. They just, again, they'll have that first drive, and then they kind of waited too long there in the fourth quarter to really get anything going. So,
yeah, I do want to comment a little bit on each team's road to the playoff. Notre Dame started off with Indiana, smoked them, proved that they didn't belong, but they did have decent tests after that, right? They had, who else did they have? They had Georgia, and then they had Penn State, and obviously OSU. They couldn't get it done, but both of these teams very, very legit roads to the playoff, and that's the result of this 12-team playoff, right? It's when you look at OSU, right? Tennessee,
Oregon, Texas,
and then Notre Dame. Those are pretty much the best teams in the country remaining, right?
Yeah,
so
no doubt. Ohio State earned it. You can say what you want about them losing to Michigan, and I like to poke fun and laugh about that. It is funny that they can't. I mean, that's like what used to be our Florida thing. We would see the Gator logo and lose it. Same thing. Every time they see that Wolverine helmet, it just goes to shit for Ohio State. But to their credit, I mean, they rebounded. They played the 4 toughest teams that they could possibly play. I think Tennessee, Oregon, Notre Dame, and Texas. Outlier being Georgia. 4 best teams in the country that you could play. So, it was definitely a redemption story. They earned it. And, I've seen a lot of people argue like, well, this kind of cheapens the regular season. In times past, that Michigan loss would have cost Ohio State an opportunity to play for the national championship. And then that's where you get into all that debate and conjecture about, well, who's the most deserving versus, the best team, right? It kind of takes out the subjectivity, of the committee and the voters and the AP poll, all that stuff, because they literally let it play out on the field during the 12-team playoff. Now, one could argue that the field of the 12 teams probably wasn't the most, I guess, comprehensive and complete or competitive 12, to say the least. The most deserving for the 12 probably could have been retooled a little bit.
Yeah, I do think that all 12 teams kind of deserved it at some level. But as we saw, 1 through 4 being automatically eliminated,
just zapped. Well, I think so. I think that this is where they had to retool it. Now, Notre Dame, they did prove that, again, they deserve to be there. I still have a huge problem with Notre Dame being there and not playing in a conference championship game.
Yeah. Did you hear about the money situation because of that? Like they get
all 14 million of their payout.
Right. So
they don't have to split it like every other team. But here's the other thing. If I'm Georgia, if I'm looking at it objectively, if I'm Georgia or I'm Texas, I'm pissed off that I had to play another game and Notre Dame didn't going into the playoffs, because both of those teams both made the playoffs and they both had to play in the SEC championship game. And oh, by the way, they had injuries. Both of them had catastrophic injuries to their rosters in those games. Carson Beck was lost for the entire rest of the season. He didn't even get to play in the playoffs because of what happened in the SEC championship game. So if you want to talk about it being fair and all that other shit, I really think you have to look at it objectively and say, join a conference or you're not getting in.
Right. And I do want to say that it creates this special loophole that both Tennessee and Ohio State were kind of able to take advantage of. It's like, be good enough, but not good enough to make the conference championship game. Yeah.
And I'll say this too. Tennessee, from a player personnel standpoint, they limped, and all pun intended on that. They limped into the playoffs. We were beat up. We had a lot of injuries at our skill positions, had a lot of guys out. Now, I'm not discrediting that mollywop that happened to us in Columbus. Even if we were at full throat, I don't know if we had any real answers there. You can't go back in time and redo it. So, the record books will always say what it says, right? We got splattered big time there in Columbus that night. But I will say that does play a factor into it. And when you look at it, it's like you're lengthening the season. This was some of the big concerns that the NFL players had about, putting in another game. I think because they're up to 17 games now.
Yep.
Yeah. So before they even get into the playoffs. So, player safety, man, we talk about it with all the folks that do, shows like ours, or the real primetime guys like Colin Cowherd or Clay Travis, or Paul Feinbaum. All those big time shows, they talk about all the time about player safety, and they have guys that talk about it in the media nonstop, and your commissioners and your ADs and your coaches. sometimes it feels a little disingenuous when you see these type of individuals championing those themes, but then you have the playoff committee or the I guess the power brokers in charge of college football that add these games to the schedule. So yeah, I think again it's really disingenuous. Make everybody play a conference championship game, all things equal, because you add another game to Notre Dame's schedule there, they may not be as healthy. So that obviously gives them a competitive advantage when they're going into conference play, and it gives them a little extra time to rest. So, yeah, I think that's where you have to really draw the line in the sand.
All right, let's move on to a little bit of NFL. Again, we mentioned 3 games left. These are the first 2, Sunday afternoon and evening. We'll start off with Eagles Commanders. Eagles -6, over under 47.5. Couple things I want to call out here. I think Jaden Daniels, after we put the whooping on him, right? After we renamed Baton Rouge or what is
Neyland
it? Tiger
South.
Stadium, Neyland West, Neyland South, whatever you want to call it. The guy's on an unbelievable tear. He might be the best rookie I've seen in the NFL.
Like ever, all time?
I think you gotta throw that rookie quarterback. You gotta throw him in the top 3.
You're saying he's goated as rookie quarterback in the NFL?
I believe so.
Okay.
I can't really think of a better.
Has there ever been a rookie win their conference championship the first year or the Super Bowl?
I
can't think of one.
I know Big Ben won it in his second year.
Yeah. Still not a rookie though. But yeah.
Not a rookie. And I know we just had this conversation about CJ Stroud, right? So if we start making this is just like work, right? If you start making trends or analysis based on one data point, you might be screwed when the second data point comes in.
That's right.
It just seems like this guy, more than CJ Stroud, is just like unflappable. It's more like the arm talent is there, the running ability is there,
the luck is there.
The luck is there, but also the confidence in the poise.
Jaden Daniels, I believe Jaden Daniels has a horseshoe shoved up his ass. Like he is automatic, dude. Like the amount of just silly plays. I mean, the one that really I think captivated the NFL fan this year was that heave at the end of regulation. They got tipped. Yeah, versus the Bears. It really sealed the deal for the Bears this season on a downward trajectory. Wound up firing their coach and everything. But that's just part of being the Chicago Bears at this point since the 85 Super Bowl. But anyway, that overtime or lack of overtime, because he ended it in regulation, that heave there to the end zone to win the game. I think that really catapulted him and the Commanders to kind of where they are now. It was like they turned the Titanic, and they did it faster than anybody else. Because I think until then, I mean, they'd won some games, but I really don't think their culture or their identity had changed as far as a losing football team. But I think that gave them a spark. And, it's nice to see because honestly, all my artists formerly known as the Redskins fans out there, they've been wandering around since Joe Gibbs the first time. I know he made a comeback and it didn't work out. They went through Spurrier. They've been through a million quarterbacks. They've been through a lot of coaches, and it's just never worked out for them. Their team has always been scrutinized because of the team's mascot. They were just a football team of Washington just a few years ago. Now they're the Commanders. Now they're going to be the Redskins potentially again. It's just been a wild time to be a Washington NFL franchise football fan, right? So whatever they wind up, keeping the name as or not, I think they've figured out that they've got a quarterback and they've got an identity that, helps them win football games. And, not for nothing, I like to see the comeback tour for their head coach there, man. I mean, he was kind of left for dead after he left Atlanta. And now he's doing great things. Got his team in the NFC Championship game. And it's pretty compelling that it's the NFC East, man. How about them Cowboys? You know what I'm saying?
We won't even have to mention the Giants.
The Eagles and the Commanders are really, the cream of the crop in the NFC, man. And it played out that way for them to both be in the NFC Championship game. But I'm with you. I'm taking you have -6 for the Eagles. I really think I'm going to go Commanders, man. I'm going to flip here. I'm going to take Commanders in this game just because I think that Jaden Daniels has got it, the it factor. So
I agree with you, Josh, and that's just for the graphic.
I got you. My bad.
I'm on Commanders as well, but I will give you a kind of weird same game parlay if you want to bet Eagles.
Yeah, hey, that's why we got some views going on right now, man. We got some listeners. So hey, go to your sports book if it's legal in your state, pop it open, and Naveen's gonna make you some cash hopefully right here with his same game parlay. I know my better half likes to do those same game parlays. Typically those are for suckers, and I let her know. But let's get to these legs and see if it holds the table up.
Yeah. So what I'm saying here is if the Eagles win, so this is Eagles money line, and Jalen Hurts under passing yards. So I think the number's out. It's in the low 200s. I think that if Eagles are going to win, it's going to be on the ground. I think that honestly, if the Eagles are going to dominate the game, Jalen Hurts is not going to be the main factor. It's going to be Saquon Barkley.
Of course.
I think that's really what they've been missing over the past couple seasons. Since
Jalen's banged up too, man. Like I think his knees all jacked up. There's some issues going on.
I wanted to mention that as well, with the horseshoe up the ass comment, or the luck comment. I will say that I think Jaden Daniels threw or had 5 turnovers in that game, and he still won. And I remember this because this is the day after our Tennessee fiasco at Ohio State. I was just watching football casually. I was still in Bermuda. I was in the islands. I was like, all right, let me watch this chill-ass Eagles victory. No, was not an Eagles victory. Last second, this guy, I think he's won 3 or 4 games when he's trailing in the last 15 seconds of the game. So that's why I'm so afraid to take Eagles here, and I'm going Commanders because, I mean, how do you not back that guy? How do you not back?
He's a winner, man.
Oh,
he's proven himself as a winner.
And he does it at the end of the game. And for those reasons, I want to go Commanders +6. But again, if you're wanting to bet Eagles, I think that the game plan will be let's pound it to Saquon. When we need a tough third down, we'll get it to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. And that's it. That's the only time we're throwing. We're going to push our way to everything when things don't work. It's also cool. Like, we'll talk about it next game, but the Bills have a tush push with Josh Allen. It's just as deadly.
It's unstoppable.
Pretty sick.
And they did it a million times to Baltimore.
It's crazy, man. Like it works 100% of the time, all the time.
Yeah.
So I will say that's pretty cool to see. My side here is just I'm not touching over under. I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest with you, so I'm skipping over under. Going with Washington. Going with Washington +6 here. All right, okay. Chiefs Bills. We've seen it so many times. I feel like this is always
we know
the matchup.
we know the script, NFL. We already know.
Chiefs could be down
Last possession, they'll be down 10
13
points.
seconds left.
Yeah, 13 seconds left, down 10 points. They'll throw a Hail Mary, get the touchdown, go for 2, get it, onside kick it, recover kick field goal, like a 60-yarder and win.
Yeah, so that's why I like this too. I like that we get the field goal at the end covered in.
That's how it'll go down, man. I'm telling you, that's how they've scripted it for Pat Mahomes to three-peat, man.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about her all year, but Taylor Swift is still in the box, man. So,
yeah, she's still up there, man. I saw her up there. She was up there giggling with what's
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA girl. Yeah, man. I don't know why Caitlin Clark was there, but anyway, guess she's a big Chiefs fan.
Yeah, she just went on their podcast. I think that's why she
was on the Kelsey Brothers pod.
Yeah.
When can we get her on Locky Top's pod, man? You think calling out Caitlin Clark? Can you make a cameo appearance on our podcast? I mean, we're probably as cool and just, I mean, we're as handsome and we're also way funnier than the Kelsey brothers. So feel free. We'll take you if you want to come on and talk about anything really. And I mean, she's got that big beef with Angel Reese. Maybe even hit up Angel. I know she's got her own cereal box now. Maybe we can promo the cereal and the beef between the two goddesses of the WNBA.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I'm open for it.
This one, I think it's going to be Chiefs. Everybody and their mothers on the over. I'm going to suggest under here. Kind of fade people. I'm seeing 24. I'm seeing it in my mind's eye right now. I'm seeing 24-21 Chiefs. Under Chiefs -2. Big time lock. And Travis Kelce will retire after this season, after the Super Bowl, after he beats Jaden Daniels. And he's going to propose to Taylor Swift, and it's going to be over.
Bro, we called this. We said this last year, man. We said that he was going to propose to Taylor Swift after winning the Super Bowl last year.
I mean, now he has to do a three-peat.
Yeah, I guess, man. I don't know. I mean, I remember last year pretty vividly after beating the 49ers, and it looked really like a little bit of forced public display of affection there, a little peck, a little, wasn't no fireworks going off there, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's time. These people are old, 35 years old. If Taylor Swift wants a kid, it's now or never.
Yeah, that's true. The oven's about to go out. That's right.
Yeah. So Chiefs -3. Chiefs -2. Commanders +6, and then we'll be ready for the Super Bowl. And then next week we'll have the dreaded task of the empty week of sports, where we have no real sport to watch other than basketball. No football. We got to wait for that Super Bowl for 2 weeks. But again, those are our best bets, and really that's what we have for you guys this week. Any other messages for the audience?
I'd just like to tell them, hey man, big game for Tennessee against Auburn on Saturday. We're going to do our reaction show. I know we have folks on here watching, man. I just wish you would get in the comments, man.
Any comments on Facebook, Josh?
Yeah, no comments on the Facebook stream either. But I know we got some out in YouTube land. We want to engage with whoever's out there that wants to talk about anything. I mean, I love talking to Naveen. He's a good friend of mine, but I get to talk to him all the time. We love putting out this show, but it would be good, from our viewers, give us some feedback so we can either stop doing something that you don't like, or maybe try something else, or keep doing some of the stuff that you do like to see. So, and do more of it. We've given you some good bets to go out and try to make some coin on this weekend. Like I said at the beginning of the episode tonight, big week, a lot of sports going on. Cherish these last few games of football we got, while we go into football purgatory. And tune in for our show on Saturday night. And again, appreciate all the ones that have tuned in. And we'll keep bringing this content to you guys. But for Naveen, I'm Josh. We love you. We'll see you Saturday night, and hopefully the Vols can take care of Auburn and get back into the lead of the SEC conference race. We love you. Take care. Go Vols, and we'll see you next time.
Go Vols.